Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is part 13 of this video series. In the last part, we had just done with the implementation of user registration, and we had done some decoupling of the code, like we decoupled some logics related to the role assignments and the user creation. So I hope you guys have seen this video, and it was very important in our all videos. Is in this video series, this video was very important because I segregated some code and decoupled some piece of code. Now in this video I will be doing the same thing. So but here I have noticed in my code, let's flip to the Visual Studio, that what we are going to do in this video. If we see, last time we had work on the registration part, we just refactor the registration part. You see the code is very much reduced, but we can have some more flexibility to make it good code. But for now it's okay. Let's flip to the other code piece of code, so we have some more videos on this playlist waiting. So we will just try to finish this refactoring things in a few videos, and then we can move towards some third-party authentication like Facebook, Twitter, or some other Gmail like. So we have to refactor it as soon as possible, otherwise we'll not be good to go. So when I see I have two login method, one login method is that where you just directly sign in with your password. Here what I'm doing, I'm checking the user, if it exists. I'm checking the authentication part. If the user is authenticated to my system, that means it exists in the database. You provide the login name and it checks, okay, the user is exist or not. If user exists, then I'm checking that if the user has enabled the two-factor authentication. If it has enabled the two-factor authentication, because in some application the 2FA is not very mandatory for the users. Some users enable and some users do not. So we should be flexible with that functionality. So we are making that the flexible thing. If user has not enabled that, okay, leave this part, go directly this thing and execute this part. Okay, so what is up right here in the two-factor enable? If two-factor is enabled, so we have this piece of logic. We are signing out through the signing manager, just logging out from the existing session, logging out, and we are checking the password. Okay, if the password is correct, okay, then we are creating a token for that, and that token we are sending through a email service. We can switch it to the another sending factor like SMS or some other medium, but for now we have email functionality. So if you guys request, so I will make a video on the SMS as well. We will add that functionality. We'll make it flexible, whether you want to send through the email or so we can make our code more flexible in the future. But for now it's fine. Let's we are sending it through the email and then your code exit here. It will return, okay, we have sent the OTP. You will go to the email and copy that piece of code, that OTP of 4 or 5 digits, and then you on the front end you should be navigating to some other page because you are authenticated and you get an OTP. So when you got the OTP on your email, you call another API, you put that code and your username. So this piece of logic will be executed. So if you notice that this piece of logic, what I have written here, it looks like the same. It looks like the same with this. So that means I have the duplication of the code. What I'm creating the list of auth claims and then getting all the roles from the database, okay, and adding it to the claim and creating the JWT token, and in the end I'm returning the same thing I'm doing here. If my code is correct according to the username, I'm checking it. If with this method sign in manager two-factor sign in sync, the code is fine. Then if it succeeded, then I'm using the same thing. You see, auth claim and the same thing, creating getting all the roles and adding it to the claims, and then creating the token, getting the token, and in the last the same thing. I'm returning the token, JWT token, and expiration date. Well, that's fine. So this is the duplication code. So we will try to segregate the parts. We will create a separate method for this and a separate method for this, and we'll make use of it several times whenever we need it. So we'll go to the service let's flip to the service part. This is the user management service. Okay, but before that we should commit our code, because I have not committed the code in any video. I created 2 or 3 videos and I'm sorry, I apologize for that. I did not commit. Okay, so let's just do a commit here. Okay, so refactor register code is done. It's not look like very meaningful commit, but it's fine. The message. Okay, now what is it saying? Okay, you have made another change. What I have make change? Okay, fine, no problem. Let's commit it as well. Okay, save. And what is that? Okay, for now I don't need that. Let's commit the staged. Okay, message is required. Edit changes to controller and refactor. This is the branch name. So commit to stage and let's make it push. All right. Okay, let's flip to this part. We have a model. In the model, I have create user response, register, login model. What is the login model? In the login model, I have username and the password. And in this model, I have this DB. I have to convert, take this application DB context to the service from here. It should not be there, or maybe to the repository layer to create a data layer and move it to there, not in the service. But we'll do it later. So I will create another model. Let's create a class. So this class will be returning the token. Okay, let's name this class as I believe we should not we are not required a class for that, because we are just returning a token by the login method. So let's go to this part. Here is our service iUser management. Let's come here and copy this thing, paste, and let's rename it as. And here we are not returning the list of a string. Let's remove it. And okay, go back to the controller. We should not be thinking of the logic very much, because the logic is already, we are just segregating. Okay, so this is the input thing we are required. Go this side, remove this thing, login model. Okay, assign role and name it as get OTP by login is synchronous. Fine. We have saved this. You see this error is coming. Just go and in the last put your cursor here and press control dot, implement the interface. You will get the body of this. Okay, now let's remove this and go back to your controller and copy this logic. Okay, because this is the logic of two-factor enable, and here we will be just doing this. Now what is this? We're getting so much error. Let's make it as async. Okay, the error has gone. Okay, before that we need to check the user as well. One piece of code we have forgotten. That is this part. Let's copy this. Come right here. Let's paste. All the thing is good. We will be just returning what? We will be returning a token. Okay, not this email part will be. If I inject this email part, So you see, I will be depending this user management class, this email service will be depending on this, which I should not do. It should be decoupled. It does not look like a good thing that I'm injecting the email service here in the user management service. So I will remove this part. What I am doing here, just this token matters. I'll have to send this OTP or token, whatever it is, to this. Okay, let's copy. This is the piece of code, and we have to copy this part, copy, and move this, remove this as well, and paste. In the response, we will be returning a string, and in the string, oops, sorry, string. In the response, we will be just returning the token. Okay, not like these things. Is success equals to true, status is 200, and message OTP created. And for logging purpose, I can log this, that what OTP was created for your CD log or backend logging. So what was created? For that purpose, I can log it for in this message, but it should not be returned on the front end. But better not to do it here. If I'm directly using it on the controller, then do not add it in the message. Better not. Okay. Said OTP sent to the email. What is the email name? Are we providing in the just on the username? Let's provide the email as well. Okay. On the email, no. User dot email. Okay, whatever the email is, we're getting from this part. No, it's fine. You see this piece of code, it does only what it returns. It returns the OTP code. Now we can use that. Now go back to the authentication controller again. And what we can do for now, we can remove this thing and call that method, which one, underscore user management underscore user dot token async login model, and this part. Okay, var token equals to this, make it as await. Why it is giving me error? Create user token. Oh, wrong. Get OTP login async. This is the method. And here, let's make it as response this. Okay. Response dot response. Better if I create a class so I can handle it much better. That's fine. Okay, let's go back there. This is what happened when you make code on the runtime. On the user, add a class, name it as OTP response get OTP response, login OTP response. Login OTP response looks more, readable. And here we need two things. One is the token. Let's copy this part here to here. Make it as public. Another thing which we needed, a Boolean variable. Boolean is two-factor enable. Two-factor enable. Remove this thing. Okay. We are getting two warnings. We will resolve this later. Copy this, remove this unnecessary things. Come right here, paste. Come over here and paste. Response is equals to new. Login OTP response. This German keyboard troubles me a lot. I cannot write, cannot handle this much. Okay, now in this thing, token equals to this token, and is two-factor enable equals to user dot two-factor enable. Now fine. But you see the logic, some more thing we need, because first we are generating the two-factor code, and then we are returning the code. So this thing will not looks good because the token will be returned in any case if he has not enabled the two-factor authentication. So in that case we should return an empty string, and in that case what we can do, we can add a if check. If user dot two-factor enable, then do this thing. Control X, Control V. Okay. If it is enabled, and if it is not enabled, you don't have to do anything. You just have to return okay. Copy this. Token is equals to string dot empty and user dot two-factor enabled. Will be sent. No. Two-FA is not enabled. Fine. Very much looks like. Okay, what is this error coming, man? Okay, it's here. Here do we need the user again? Yes. So after this we need the user as well. What is this user identity? User I need. Okay. We need this as well in the response. Public identity user. Let's make it as user get set. What is it saying, man? Non-enable container constructor. Consider declaring non. Obviously, it should non-enable. What did I declare this? Because I will be returning the user information as well from the response. Otherwise, I will have to call the user this method again here, because here I will get the token. If two-factor is not enabled, then I will have to execute this piece of code, or for executing this piece of code I should have a user. So what I did, I returned the user as well. So my database call will be minimized. One call will be minimized. Okay, what where I can do, I will try to make it minimal database calls. So here one more thing will happen. User equals to user. Copy this, paste, and then above of all these things, one more thing will happen. Maybe your username is not correct. If user is not equal to null, then you are allowed to do these things. Otherwise, user is not copy, paste, response. We are not returning the user. Not two-factor authentication is false. Not returning anything. Let's just not return the response, because response will be null. Is success will be false. Let's make it the user does not exist. It's 404. User does not exist. User does not exist. This case can be very okay. Now it looks like very perfect piece of code for me. Not perfect, nothing is perfect, man. Let's go to the authentication controller and now see the magic what I'm going to do. Okay, var response equals to await underscore user dot get OTP login async tab tap. Okay, let's remove this piece of code. I don't need that. But slowly, you see, if I remove complete, it will not. It will giving me very much error. Okay, let's remove this. Equals to response dot user. If response is not null. Then we will do all the things. In which case, otherwise this one. Otherwise it is running unauthorized already, but we'll change it. See response. Okay, response maybe. Response is not. It's not null. Okay. Remove this. Now what we need, token var token equals to name does not look good. Login response. Login OTP response. Response was not looking fine to me. Okay, method name dot response dot token. Now token will be placed here. Okay, fine. You see the code is not breaking. Let's run this, and in the next video we will refactor or remove this duplication. We have just segregate or take out the piece of code for the OTP. Let's check this if it's working or not. Okay, one more thing we need to add is success equals to this login OTP response dot is success. Sorry, login response dot is success. Now let's run this Swagger. The video has gone very long. Let's check this method if our code is working. Okay, this is my username I'm providing and the password. Let's execute that. And after this, we'll get a response. See, success, we have sent an OTP to your email. So this email is coming from the DB and an OTP is sent to the email, and on the front end we will be navigating to the other page and we will get the OTP on email and we'll put the OTP code here and with the username. So we will be logged in. If your two-factor FA is enabled, then this. So we have successfully segregated this code and separate the logic. So in the next video we will be removing this duplication. So I hope that you like this video. So see you in the next video. Thank you. Take care. Bye.